We are about to witness one of the biggest robberies in NBA MVP history when it comes down to this year's MVP award between Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, this has been one of the closest, most valuable player races in a long time. Two very deserving players, and I want to start that out by saying that these two players deserve this award so much, and regardless, you're going to have one guy that gets snubbed because these are two MVP caliber seasons. And when I look at Nikola Jokic and the dominant stretch that he's had this year, I can't find a reason to not give him the MVP award except for voter fatigue. He's won this 3 out of the last 4 years. It should be 4 out of the last 4. And I personally think that Jokic is going to get snubbed of this award again. When you look at SGA's odds to win this award, he's minus 4,000. An implied probability that is nearly 98% for him to win the MVP. I completely disagree with that when you look at both of these guys' cases. Now, we'll start with SGA. He's had a tremendous season, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to have the best record in the NBA. They're going to have the #1 overall seed heading into the postseason. They're probably next to Boston, the championship favorites, and you have SGA, the driver of the bus, putting up nearly 33 points per game, the leading scorer in the NBA. He's distributing, he's rebounding, he's stealing, he's doing it all for OKC, and he probably is the MVP if it's any other year. But you look at Nikola Jokic, you look at the 61-point triple-double he had the other night against Minnesota, along with this tremendous season that he's had. I cannot figure out a way that you're not giving this guy the award because he's truly been so dominant. And dominant is an understatement. When you look at Nikola Jokic over the last 5 years, you might be looking at one of the best offensive primes in NBA history. And that sounds crazy to say, but when you have a 7-foot big man who can shoot the ball, who can pass the ball, who can put up 30, who can distribute it for 10 assists a game, who can rebound it, and then not to mention be second in the league in steals, you're witnessing generational stuff. And I believe that's what we're seeing with Nikola Jokic on a nightly basis. And of course, when you have some insane stat lines like 61, 10, and 10, you're going to see so many different stats that are floating out there about everything that you've really done throughout this season. And for Jokic, one of the coolest ones is that no player in NBA history has been all in the top 10 categories of points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, and steals per game all at the same time. Well, for the Joker this season, he's not top 10 in those categories all at the same time. He's top 3 in those categories right now. He currently is the 3rd most points per game in the NBA, right behind Giannis and SGA. He is the 3rd most rebounds in the NBA, the 2nd most assists per game in the NBA, and the 2nd most steals in the NBA. That is insanity when you break it down. The NBA's never seen a player that's been top 10 in those categories all at the same time. And now you have a guy that's top 3 in those categories all in a singular season. This is historic stuff that we are watching with the Joker. And I think that's really not getting more coverage right now because, first of all, Denver's in a small market, and so is Oklahoma City, but Denver's in a small market. Jokic doesn't have some huge personality like Anthony Edwards or even SGA with this whole aura thing that people are talking about. So I don't think he gets enough coverage there as well. And let's face it, this is SGA's first to maybe 2nd season of doing something like this. For Jokic, this is his 5th year in a row doing this. At the end of the day, we all have to admit we're getting used to this by now. You scroll through social media, you see another 61, 10, and 10 performance, or you see a 20, 20, 20 performance from Jokic, you're like, oh, that's the Joker for you. And it truly is. We're seeing this on a nightly basis for the last 5 years in a row. And he's won 3 out of the last 4 MVPs, should be 5 out of the last 5. People are getting used to this. And I believe it's going to be voter fatigue that ultimately costs Jokic this award. And it's going to be the national media not giving him enough coverage for what he's doing. One of the best offensive primes in NBA history. They'd rather talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. How about let's talk about Nikola Jokic, a guy who is having a historic year, a guy that is maybe the most versatile offensive player in NBA history. It truly blows my mind what we are witnessing from the Joker on a nightly basis. And yet he's not going to win this MVP award. And you even have guys like Anthony Edwards after that game against Minnesota who's like, besides myself, and of course he's going to say that, besides myself, Nikola Jokic is the greatest player I've ever seen. I haven't heard anyone say that about SGA. You're hearing that about the Joker and the Joker alone. The dude is on another planet, in my opinion. I thought he's been the best player in the NBA for about the last 3 seasons now. And of course, if you're the best player in the NBA, we all know that that does not equate to winning MVPs. And I just don't think that you can use the winning argument for Shai's case as well. Sure, let's look at SGA and this great season that the Thunder have had. This is one of the best rosters in the NBA. And Shai has been the bus driver. Sure, he has been. And they're going to win the most games in the league this season. But come on, they have Chet Holmgren. They have Jalen Williams, Hartenstein, Caruso. The list goes on and on and on. This is one of the best rosters in the NBA. You look at the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. has been so in and out of the lineup all season long. Jamal Murray's been super banged up and has been super inconsistent. This Nuggets team is a shell of what it was when they won the championship 2 years ago, and they're going to be a top 3 to 4 seed in the West, and they're going to win 50 plus games this year. And at the end of the day, I don't think there's any consistency from these voters as well that come from the media. Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics had the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference last year and was definitively the best player on that team. Sure, you want to say Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP. Tatum had more points, rebounds, and assists in the Finals and Eastern Conference. But if you want to look at the consistency argument for, hey, he was winning, #1 team in the Eastern Conference, led them in virtually every single stat, and I don't even think he was a top 3 candidate to win the MVP. And then you have SGA. Sure, the only category he's beating Jokic in is points, but Jokic is having a historic season. Oh, but SGA has 13 more wins this season and is going to have the #1 overall seed in the West and in the NBA. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That's ludicrous to me. That is absolutely ludicrous. And I'll wrap it up by saying this. In the NBA, we've seen some huge snubs of the MVP award, and Jokic losing this year will not be the first time that a snub happens, and it won't be the last time that it happens. We've seen LeBron get snubbed of winning it. We saw Shaq get snubbed of winning it over Steve Nash. But at the end of the day, Jokic is still not going to be an easy out in the postseason if the Nuggets have to play the Thunder. They're 2-2 against each other. And this might be some extra fuel for Jokic, Jamal Murray, the Nuggets, those boys to get back to the finals, to go on a run and prove, hey, we're going to have a chance to see this team in the playoffs more than likely. Why don't we knock them out and prove who the real MVP is? You know who I'm rocking with. I've got Nikola Jokic as this year's MVP. Absolutely historical season, one of the best offensive primes we've ever witnessed, all just because of aura on the other side, and people want to get complacent and people just act like it's normal. They act like it's normal what we're seeing from Nikola Jokic. Hey, 60, 10, and 10, a 30-point triple-double, almost averaging on the season, and top 2 in steals, top 3 in every single category. That's normal, though. That's normal. I'll wrap it up by saying that. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Caden Kubler. See ya.